Yo, what up? It's your boy, Mr. E. Hello, high quality students. Mr. E here, and I believe you can learn anything on YouTube. Today, we're going to learn about UPS check. Oh, man, it's been a while since I've uploaded a YouTube video. I just want to let you guys know I've just been so busy over this summer, just booked, scheduled, had no time to make any YouTube videos. But in all seriousness, thank you guys so much for being patient with me and sticking with the channel, even though I took a little bit of a break. But let's get on to the YouTube video. So we're learning about UPS check, and you might be thinking to yourself, oh yeah, UPS, like that truck that comes and delivers all our packages. No, that's not what I'm talking about. UPS check is a way that can help you get an answer correct on a test. And this is any test: math, science, reading, social studies, writing, spelling, anything. If you use UPS check, you are one step closer to getting a right answer. But what does UPS check stand for? Well, I'm glad you asked, or I guess I'm glad I asked. Let's talk about it here. So we've got UPS check over here on the left. The U in UPS check stands for understand the question. How are you going to get a question right if you don't understand it? Typically in a math problem, the question comes at the very end of the problem. So that's what I suggest to students is go straight to that question and figure out what the question's asking you to do. If you can figure that out, then you're going to be able to answer the problem a lot easier. The next step for P will be prepare the problem, and that can look like a bunch of different things. We could go back and we could highlight, underline, and circle some important keywords or numbers that are going to help us solve this problem. We could also take a look at the graph, the table, the image if that's provided. So there's lots of different ways we can prepare that problem. But if you can prepare and gather as much information as possible, you'll be able to solve the problem a little bit easier. The S stands for solve, and in math that makes sense. We're just going to solve our answer, equate, get our numbers together. But in other subjects, solve just means answer the question. So now we're going to be solving, and we're going to try to figure out what the answer is. The last step is to check, and you just want to go back and make sure that your answer is reasonable. You didn't pick an answer that wouldn't make any sense. And along with check, you want to ask yourself, do you feel good about this answer? If you feel good about the answer and you're willing to bet your next paycheck, or at least what you're going to have for lunch that day, then you'd put a check mark right next to that question. If you're feeling a little uneasy or like, you know what, I don't really feel like I got that answer right, you'd put a question mark next to it and you maybe come back to it a little bit later and double check. So that's what UPS check stands for. Now let's see a problem where we're going to use UPS check. All right, we've got our question here. It says, Mr. E watched 7,285 minutes of YouTube.
That's a lot of
minutes.
In the month of July. There are 31 days in July. How many minutes of YouTube did Mr. E watch each day? So yeah, I think you can tell I wasn't super busy over the summer. So let's talk about how we would use UPS check for this problem. So the first thing that I would do is I would write UPS check on the side. And as we're first learning this, you might not remember what UPS check stands for. So if you want to write it all the way out, you totally can. So U stands for understand the question. So like I said, the question's typically at the very end. It says, how many minutes of YouTube did Mr. E watch each day? So that each word, that's going to be really important for me. So I might underline that because I know that might help me solve my problem. So basically what I'm trying to find out is I know how many minutes are in the whole month, but I'm trying to find out how many minutes were in each day. So I understand the question now, so I'm going to put a check mark next to that. Now I'm going to prepare the problem. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the problem one more time. It says Mr. E watched 7,285 minutes. I'm going to circle that because that number might be helpful to help me solve. Of YouTube in the month of July, which that's my birthday month, by the way. Shout out to all the Leos. There are 31 days in July, just in case you didn't know that. How many minutes of YouTube did Mr. E watch each day? So I underlined that word each. I know each typically means multiplication or division. So that might help me solve, as I might be using one of those two operations. So now I feel like I've prepared the problem, so I'm going to put a check mark next to that. Now I'm going to solve. So let's think about this. It looks like we have a really big number, and we're trying to find out how many minutes are in each day. I don't think my minutes each day could exceed the number that I had for the entire month. So it looks like the operation I'm going to want to use is division. So I'm going to use division for this problem. So I'm going to make my garage. We'll put the dividend on the inside, and we'll put the divisor on the outside. So 31's our divisor, 7,285 would be our dividend. Now what I'm going to do is create a what I know column, because this is going to save my life and make sure that I get a correct answer. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, so 0 times 31 would give us 31, or 0, not 31. Anything times 0 would be 0. Then we've got 31. Then we've got 62, 93, 124, 155, 186, 217, 248, and then the last one would be 279. All right, so we made our what I know column. I made that pretty quickly. If you need to go off to the side, you need to do 31 plus 31 to get your answers. That's totally fine. And I do say you're more than welcome to stop at 5, but high quality students go all the way up to 9. And I know we're all high quality students. So now I ask myself, how many times can 31 fit into 7? Well, it cannot, because 31 is a bigger number than 7. So I'm going to subtract 0, and then I'm going to bring down my next number. Now I ask myself, how many times can 31 fit into 72? And it looks like that can fit in 2 times. So using my what I know column, I know that I'm going to put 62 down here. I'm going to subtract. And then I bring down the next number, which is 108. Then I start the process over. How many times does 31 fit into 108? Well, 124 is a little too big, so we're going to use the number 3 for 93. So 93 comes down here. I subtract. That'll give me a 5. I'm going to borrow from here. And 15. Then I bring down the next 5. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. It looks like it fits in evenly. So 5. So we'd subtract 155. Subtract. And we got that donut. You know, it's always a good answer if you got a donut at the end. Whoa, my donut got a little cray-cray at the end, but everybody loves a little extra donut. So we've solved our problem, and we've got the answer of 235. Now we want to check. We want to make sure, is this answer reasonable? Is this something that could be possible? So 235 minutes, that's about 4 hours a day, which that's embarrassing, but yeah, that's about how much YouTube I watched each day. And that seems pretty reasonable. Another way we could check our answer is we could use inverse operations. So we could say 235 multiply 31. We love seeing a 1 in the ones place because we're just going to copy down that number. We put that placeholder 0 because we're high quality students. 3 times 5 would give us 15. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. And then 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And when we add these two numbers up, if we get our number we started with or our dividend, then we have a correct answer. And it looks like these two numbers match. So we did get a correct answer. So check mark. I feel great about this answer. I would definitely be willing to pay bet my next paycheck that I got this answer right, even though that's not a whole lot of money. So we use UPS Check to help us successfully do a math division problem. Now, like I said, UPS Check can be used in reading, writing, social studies, science, every other subject, and we highly suggest that you use this so that it can help you just stop, take a second, really make sure you're thinking about the question and making sure that you're getting it right. Because think about this. When you take the STAR test, you have 4 hours or longer to take the test. And how many of you guys finish it within an hour or two and have nothing left to do? You might as well take a little extra time to ensure that you get your answer correct. Well, I hope this video is helpful. I hope you get some practice with UPS Check so that you can get a Hyundai on your next test. Keep learning, Elsbres.